Morning guys, we're out here checking traps again today. Got a few more sets put in the ground yesterday and pulled up here on my first farm and look what we got. Got us a little coyote. Not too bad, he's caught in both feet. That's how you want to catch him there. I set this farm just the other day. It's right here right by some houses and got some cattle on this farm and whatnot. I'm happy to get this guy out of here. I've talked to a lot of the locals around here and everyone says they're covered up. But alright, we're gonna get this guy taken care of and I'll show you all the remake. Alright guys, we got ourselves a good coyote here this morning. You wouldn't believe where I caught this thing. It's right around a bunch of houses right here. But what this is right here is there's a corner of a field. There's a big trail going in right here and there's two more trails coming in right here, and all I had set up right here was a rock out in the corner of this field. I had two traps on both sides of it. I made it a scent post set. But I'll show y'all how I've done it. I'll show y'all how I caught this coyote and hopefully I'll be able to catch another one. But alright, we'll get this guy taken care of and I'll show y'all how I caught him. Alright guys, we got that dog taken care of. Now all this set was two trap beds and a rock. That's all it was. Anything out in the middle of this field, because all it is a big wide open field all the way around me. Anything that stands out in this field, every coyote's going to come and put its nose on it. Whether it be a stick, a rock, whatever it may be, a point that runs out into the field, they're going to run by it and they're going to smell it, they're going to do whatever to it. But we'll go ahead and get these made up again. There's a little bit of blood around here. You want to do your best to get rid of all the blood that's around your set, that's in your trap bed, it's on your traps, do whatever. You got to get that off there. Some say you don't have to, but I think it helps. This coyote was in heat as well as the last one I caught. So I'm hoping that his running mate will come back down in here and hopefully get caught tonight. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. But guys, we are right here in the middle of some houses. I mean, we are right here, right by some houses. These things are coming way too close to the houses around here and whatnot, and I'm sure they're probably doing the same thing in your area. Pound that trap bed in. We're dealing with some weird weather right now. It's getting down in the 20s of a night, the 50s of a day. So even though it's hot during the daytime, you still got to set these traps up to be freeze proof. I just come in with a little bit of salt in the bottom of the bed, a little bit of peat moss. Something I like to do when I'm bedding with peat moss is flip this loose jaw up. Once you get your trap bed made, you get the salt, the peat moss, get your trap on top, take a big handful, throw of it right on the other side of your pan, right where the loose jaw is going to go. Then you push down on this side and you really push down on the other side. That way it kind of pinches itself. It makes it tight all the way around, pushing the peat moss into the dirt, pushing the trap into the other side of the bed. It seems to help. It'll make the trap bed a little bit tighter, because when you're bedding with peat moss doesn't really want to stay. Peat moss doesn't really want to pack up real good, especially if it's dry. But that right there will help. It helps me out. It might help you out. A little bit of salt. And in my opinion, that one's good to go. We're going to come back in and we're going to blend everything, so I'm not worried about that. Throw another one on there. Gonna get all the blood out, all the blood off your traps. Some people say it doesn't hurt them, but I can't help but think it does. All right. Hammer in a spot for your levers. Thin layer of salt. Bit of peat. There we go. Put some salt around the jaws. There we go. Alright guys, that's 2 sets. Now we're going to go ahead and blend them. Everything else around here is already watered out and matted down. We're just going to use the same stuff that's already here. Whenever you go to blend these traps in, if you're in a field or in the woods or whatever, you don't want to use big clumps. You really want to try to cut it up, thin it down a little bit. So if you have big clumps of grass or anything like that on your traps, it could give that coyote a padding sort of to wiggle his foot out of. So just come in with a pair of scissors and just try to blend everything in. I'll go ahead and skip forward. Alright guys, that's it. We'll put some urine on the rock and we'll call it a day. Alright guys, here we are. We're on a new property. I'm able to trap this property from my 4-wheeler, which I'm very grateful for. It saves a lot of time, a lot of effort. If you can trap from a vehicle, from a quad, from a 4-wheeler, whatever it may be, you're going to be able to cover so much more ground. It's going to be way more time efficient. You're going to be able to do so much more, be way more versatile from a 4-wheeler. If you can do it, do it. But we're out here today, and I came across this spot. It's a great spot. It's a killer spot. There's a road coming off the top of the spine of this ridge. It goes all the way clear to the top of the mountain. And you've got another trail coming over the top of this spine coming down. And what I got to looking at here in the tracks, or in the snow, there's a fresh set of pretty big bobcat tracks coming down this outside line. And something else I wanted to talk about is in the snow, after the snow, if you plan on trapping, doing any kind of trapping whatsoever, just get out and walk. After you get a little bit of snow on the ground, just get out and walk. The critters will tell you where they're at. If you have a set of bobcat tracks right here, you don't want to be trapping 100 yards that way. You might catch them eventually, you might not. You want to be trapping where the animals are, where they're traveling. So anytime you get a snow, don't be lazy. Get out and walk. Get out and walk. See for yourself where the animals are. You might find a place that's a hot spot that you never even thought about. But alright guys, we're going to get a set put in right here. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a dirt hole set right here. And I might put in some kind of little scent post set right here or something like that. But alright, we're going to get these put in and we'll see y'all on down the line. Well, guys, setting on sign, setting on major travel ways, setting on corridors, pinch points, it pays off. I caught this guy on first night set in here. It's a big one. I don't know if you can tell much about him, but he's a good one. Buddy, that's a big cat for East Tennessee. I don't care who you are. That's the biggest one I've caught so far this year. But yeah, I set this trap yesterday. You seen me set it. You seen me talk about where to set it and whatnot. I seen his tracks coming down the road and it paid off. I'm telling you guys, set on sign, get out, don't be lazy. Put the time in and it'll pay off. You'll put fur in the shed, I promise. But alright, we'll get this guy taken care of and we'll get on down the way.